Welcome back to Good Morning Football. Come on in, settle in, grab your coffee as we check in with our boy Will Selva in the newsroom out in Culver City. Buenos días, Will.
Buenos días, MJ y todos mis amigos ahí en el estudio. ¿Cómo están?
Your daily Spanish language lesson. I like it.
Exactly. What's going on there, MJ? And guys, plenty of news for you. And when you mention where Tom Brady may end up, there are some people who believe he'll be playing in Tennessee. The reality is, we still don't have any idea what Brady is going to do. As for the Titans, NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport is reporting the team is focused on keeping Ryan Tannehill. According to Ian, the Titans have had negotiations on a long-term extension for Tannehill. They maintain that the focus is on keeping all of their own players. Tannehill, of course, took over in Week 7 and promptly guided Tennessee to a 9-7 record and a berth in the AFC Championship game. Well, the Chargers have been kicked around as a possible landing spot for the 6-time Super Bowl champ, with Phillip Rivers moving on after 16 seasons. There's a void at the QB spot, and running back Austin Eckler joined NFL Total Access on Tuesday and stated his reasons why Brady would be a good fit for the Bolts.
Here's why, I think it would be a good fit.
Okay.
We just lost a lot of leadership in Phillip Rivers, right? So that's like, all right, there's a void there. Now let's bring, right? Also, Russell Orkun, one of our tackles.
That's right, got traded. Huh?
Yeah, got traded. He was one of our team leaders as well. So there's some void in leadership right there. And, it's an opportunity for people to step up. But if you bring a guy like Tom Brady in the room, he's been there, done that. He's already got the leadership qualities, and he's already proved that he's a winner. So, hey, we can build something around that, too.
Well, Brady's former teammate, Rob Gronkowski, close to finalizing a deal, but it's not for what you think. Fox Sports is reporting Gronk is in deep talks with WWE and close to finalizing a deal. Now, there's no word on how he would be used by WWE, but he could make an appearance on TV on March 20th. This obviously seems like this is his destiny. He was meant to do this in a move that wouldn't be surprising whatsoever. But I know we love basketball here on Good Morning Football, but we also love wrestling as well. I know you guys have takes on Gronk going to WWE.
I think it's absolutely perfect. Hollywood, too much, too hard. Football, he had the greatest walk-off ever. He's not coming out of retirement. No. WWE is perfect for him, unless, see, Peter, wasn't he on Gronk Beach for a while back?
Yeah, I think he's still on Gronk Beach.
Yeah, a lot of things are.
Yeah,
they're on a lot of things.
A lot of expatriates go to WEEI. He goes to WWE. That's what that was.
When you say expatriates, you mean former New England Patriots.
Yes, that's what I mean.
What else
exactly.
we got?
All right, let's do a game we call Would You Rather, guys. We put together two scenarios.
Here we got a dog in a helmet.
A dog in a helmet and a cat meowing at the moon.
With a whistle.
Yeah. Yesterday we were talking about Tua, who had a positive medical report from Ian Rappaport, and we discussed a hypothetical trade between two teams sitting in the top 5 of the draft. So let's bring it up again, and you at home can play along. Tell us what you think on Twitter. If you were the Washington Redskins, would you rather have the number 2 overall pick, keep that pick, or would you rather have Miami's 5th and 18th overall pick? So 1 first-round pick, the number 2, or 2 first-round picks, 5 and 18. Guys, I'll start with Kyle. What would you do?
I think I'm keeping the 2. I think I'm going to sit there. I earned that pick. It's tough to get the 2 pick. And it's also, this is not one of those up in the air, not a lot of high-end talent. Like, there's a couple no-doubters. Like, you're going to take Chase Young and you're going to feel great about it. Let's make this to real life. Let's say you're at the park in the summer and the ice cream truck pulls up and you want some ice cream and the whole menu is in front of you of all the items. Now, you can be the 2nd kid in line or the 5th and the 18th. By the time you get to 5 or 18, the Spider-Man's gone, right? No Choco Taco, all the Rocket Pop. 2nd pick, guys, you take it. It's valuable as hell. And frankly, when you have 5 and 18 and your draft history isn't that great, that's 2 more opportunities to mess up. I'm going to go 2nd pick. I earned it.
Yeah, you get what suits you, right? If you want that strawberry shortcake, you go ahead and get that.
Hey, that's not going to be there at 5.
It's not going to be there at 5.
Take it and
definitely
great
at 18.
I
agree.
An ice cream truck.
Yeah. Here's the thing: you're going to have to build from the defensive side if you have a young quarterback like they do. Let's not mess this up. Let's not screw this up. Chase Young is a home run hitter. And I know you're saying, well, Nate, they got defensive guys on the side of the ball that are first-round picks. Yeah, and rightfully so. I'll take you back to the early 2000s when the Ravens were doing the same thing. And they got Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Haloti Ngata in consecutive years. And they built a defense that was one of the most feared. What about last year? We were looking at the San Francisco 49ers. We were talking about it all offseason. Leading into the season, we're talking about all these individuals, Armstead, Buckner, Solomon Thomas, and then Bosa comes. And we're like, you know what, is this going to work? Why are they spending so much time on all these first-rounders? What did they do? They beat up every single team that was in front of them, including making the Green Bay Packers look like they couldn't handle that defense. So if you're the Redskins, why not do the same thing? You already have individuals on that side of the ball.
Maybe you're in love with Tua Tagovailoa. Maybe and you're not going to get him at 5.
Doesn't matter,
what if
man.
you love him?
Listen, you got Aiken, you got Allen, Deron Payne, Montez Sweat. These are first-rounders. Not to mention 2011 Kerrigan. So if you have all these individuals, you add in Chase Young, even if there's mistakes that are going to happen, that are bound to happen on the offense side of the ball with a young quarterback, that defense can hold you down and win games for you, just like the 49ers D did. I say go ahead and get a first round on defense, and you build from that side over.
I think selfishly,
Come on.
I would love for them to get the Dolphins 5-18 because I want the Dolphins to get 2.
You're a Miami girl.
But also, I think they can make a lot out of those later draft picks.
Sure.
They have so many needs that they need to fill. They need a tight end. They need a free safety opposite of Landon Collins. I mean, there's a lot of other holes that the Redskins need to fix and fill, rather. So if they have a little bit more draft capital, they do that swap. I think if the Dolphins are that secure in Tua, which I hope that they are, then this makes sense to me. And I hope that this is the first big trade, sort of the first big thing that happens in Las Vegas at the draft.
Look, the Redskins could still get a top defensive lineman with the 5th overall pick. They can get Derek Brown. They can get some of these other guys. You can get Isaiah Simmons, right? Yeah. And so if defense is it, you can still get it at 5. The 18 is what gets really interesting because in recent years we've seen Derwin James fall all the way down to that area. Last year we've seen several players that played. Josh Jacobs was there in the 20s. So if you're saying Chase Young is this satellite player where he's a complete alien and like an alien and like we need him and he's 10 years and he's the next J.J. Watt or whatever you want, you put him there, Von Miller, fine. If you don't think the drop-off is so big for the next guy, you also can double down. It's got to be interesting for the Redskins, who are so many players away. They're not a Chase Young away from making the Super Bowl. So to me, I would actually really think long and hard about that. If you come away with, say, Derek Brown and C.J. Henderson, a top corner, or Derek Brown, and I don't know if he falls a Henry Ruggs.
Sure. Right.
Now you're really talking about building the team and not just getting one player. Something to think about. All right, let's go to one more. This one is really saucy, especially if you're on the West Coast.
Go ahead.
According to our very own Mike Garafolo, the Raiders do have interest in potentially acquiring Marcus Mariota in free agency. If you are the Las Vegas Raiders, would you rather have Derek Carr in year number 7 under center in week 1 or a fresh start with Marcus Mariota? Nate Burleson, I'll start with you.
I'll go with Derek Carr. I'm not going to be dismissive to what he did last year, setting career highs in all of these different categories. And then when you look at Mariota, what happened last year with him getting benched, and because his numbers declined just about every year over the last few years. So for me to say, oh, bench Derek Carr for Mariota would be disrespectful to what Carr has done over the last couple of seasons.
I agree. And Derek has said for so many seasons now, especially after the administrative changes, when Gruden came in and when Mayock came in, that this is his team. He's not going anywhere. He's a Raiders guy. He's going to Vegas. Now, granted, obviously, that ultimate decision not entirely up to him, but to your point, Nate, everything that he's done over the last few seasons, despite the record that the team ends up with at the end of the year, has really shown that he still has a lot of football left in him. He's such a young guy,
no doubt.
And he really knows this team. He owns it, the way that he leads the team as well, and I think that he could do tremendous stuff. It's a clean slate, I think, for everyone. Whatever mishaps may have happened, this could be a fresh page for Derek Carr to go in there and really continue.
Mariota in Vegas, you got to chase him out of all those clubs and scrape him out of the gutters. I don't know if that's a good fit. Listen, if I was matchmaking, I wouldn't think John Gruden, Marcus Mariota. We know a lot about both of them. John Gruden spits fire. He has a blue streak. I don't know if the two of them are a match, whereas I think Derek Carr, you know how people always are apologists for Matt Stafford on Twitter, and he's actually much better than his reputation sometimes? Derek Carr is too. Derek Carr is better than he gets credit for, and I think you put his face on the side of a casino.
John Gruden didn't draft Derek Carr. John Gruden didn't acquire Derek Carr. He inherited Derek Carr. I would just say leave that door open. Gruden loves his quarterback
But
play.
to Marcus Mariota.
Hey, 2 years in a row they've had Derek Carr under there and they have not gone to the playoffs. I would just say let's leave the door open. Let's see how it plays out.
Peter, are you being like you know something there?
That was really ominous there.
Derek Carr or Marcus Mariota? I say
dig into
Mariota
it
might
later.
have a
All right,
possibility.
guys.
I love it.
We've got plenty of questions, but we also have huge guests coming in studio. A 7-time Pro Bowler and 2-time All-Pro center for the Jets. Nick Mangold will join us in studio this morning. And which team is going to make the biggest splash at the QB position this offseason? I have my thoughts.
Splash zone?
Quite a few.
Maybe it's the Raiders. Maybe they go with Marcus
Maybe.
Mariota.
Peter, I could do an impression of you.
We welcome you to NFL Total Access.
It's one of the best things about the National Football League.
Free agency frenzy is finally here.
There's always a fresh piece of news.
We are now the Las Vegas Raiders.
Always something to find out.
Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
As it unfolds right in